wander back. Well,
Mr. 80 has to go at 2, so if we could do the next two.
which two? Well,
11 and 12.
we'll go to 11. Yeah, 11.
That's me.
Which is
That'll be
on
quick.
page 25. Recommendations from Councillor Graham.
Thank you, Chair. We had a very good meeting. Thank you to Mr. 80 for that. We had two major recommendations. One, to receive the report on the Upper Tuki flood and drainage scheme review and Hawea Park, and we had good vigorous discussions on all, as you will all recall. We also received reports, update on progress on the Awanui stream stop banks, Central Hawke's Bay wastewater update, and of course we received the statutory updates. Just we had general business items. We had a report from Councillor Wilson on the Balanced Farm Awards, a report from Councillor Belford on a quick tank update. Councillor Scott reported to us on Awatoto beach cleanup, and Councillor Dick requested that the missing punch hole be replaced, and I would just note it hasn't. Oh, it hadn't, and there was just a stapler there. So, on his behalf, I would complain about that, but it's been I presume there's no questions on that.
No questions of Mr. 80. You happy to move that we accept your report or that report?
Yes,
Councillor
I
Graham,
would
it's
move
not
that
your
we accept
report.
that report.
Happy to move. Seconder.
Can I get the correct wording? That we
Yeah, sorry.
Move the
Move the recommendations, I should say.
Yeah. So I would move that we accept the recommendations.
Becoming a long day. Councillor Hewitt seconded. Further speakers? Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. The terms of reference, item 12 on page 27. Mr. 80, you wish to
Thank
give us an
you,
update
and
on that, please?
in the absence of this chairman of this joint committee, Peter Bevan, I will run you through this. This council has actually given delegated authority to the joint committee to develop its own terms of reference. It has done that, and so happy to report back to you that the terms of reference has been developed, but the committee was keen to have you endorse it, so that's the recommendation. The terms of reference are attached, and I think you get the minutes from the joint committee meeting anyway, but happy to provide an update at some stage in the future, probably best done in the presence of Peter Bevan. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions, queries about the terms of reference? Councillor Scott.
really around the comment that you do get the minutes. Some of the proceedings of this committee will be confidential, and so we need to get some process within this council how that is handled, because they're not necessarily public minutes. So perhaps we could get some clarification from Mr. Ady around that.
No, I'm not quite sure sort of whether I'm on the same wavelength. Certainly the meetings are public meetings.
Yeah, but the committee did discuss the joint, it's now got, is that its new name, Clifton to Tangoio Joint Committee, whatever it is. Did discuss there will be from time to time the need to do things with without the meeting being open to the public, in which case any minutes of those proceedings would have to be treated as confidential.
Yes, from time to time we may hold workshops or whatever, just to make sure that we are getting into. I mean, it will be fairly technical. There will be a need to ensure that the committee are fully understanding of those technical aspects, and no, there will be some fairly hard decisions that need to be made at some stage. So the committee or joint committee will need room to deal with those.
Can I just ask, are we going to be supplied with those, the minutes of those meetings, are we?
Yes, they are.
Are they going to be reported to a committee at one of our meetings, or are they just going to be distributed to the councillors?
Either or. Look forward, well, you're welcome for your feedback on that. At this stage, we have put them on to the council website. We are setting up a new website specifically associated with this project, and they will be put up on there. So, but happy to report back at some stage.
I would just suggest maybe an email with a link to that website would be good. Would be fine. Rather
Okay.
save the forest.
Yep.
Fair enough. Any other questions? Thoughts on the terms of reference? Everyone's happy with that? You're happy to move, Councillor Scott? We have a seconder for that. Thank you, Councillor Barker. Wish to speak? All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried.
Chairman, can I raise a matter arising from the terms of reference? The terms of reference actually specifically allow for alternates, and so as an action item, we will need to bring back to council consideration for appropriate alternates and how they will be brought up to speed.
Thank you. Make a note of that. Okay. Let's now go to appointment of Finance Audit Risk Subcommittee members, page 35. And again, we'll hand that over to the Chief Executive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's probably not a lot to say to this particular paper. You've resolved to establish a Finance Audit and Risk Subcommittee that will report through to the Corporate and Strategic Committee. That was done, the terms of reference for that were adopted at the council meeting on the 25th of February, and at that time it was indicated that the appointments to the subcommittee would be made at this meeting now. The first meeting of the subcommittee is scheduled for the 21st of April, so in about three weeks' time. I've laid out in here just a reminder, I guess, for you all of the terms of reference and what the actual work that the FAR subcommittee will do. I've also described in there that the terms of reference does provide for an external appointee, and rather than try to put forward a list of names now or seek a list of names for you to discuss, I felt it was probably appropriate for the subcommittee themselves, once they're appointed, to sit down together and work out what other skills might be needed around the committee table to help assist you in your role, so that at least the discussion on a potential external appointees would be done by the subcommittee, but clearly approval for that would have to come back to the full council. And then finally, the chair of the subcommittee should be also identified today, and the appointment made by council. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Happy to take questions.
Questions? Councillor Scott.
Yes, I was just trying to look up the actual agenda item. Sorry, I didn't get time to pull it up, and I haven't done it before, my fault. But didn't we agree to 3 members, councillors on the committee?
No, the terms of reference said 4.
Is it? Thank you.
So, shall we get to the recommendations then?
I'll nominate Councillor Hewitt.
Happy to second that. We'll do them one at a time then?
I nominate Councillor Barker.
Seconder for that. So, yeah, for Councillor Barker. Other nominations, I'm happy to nominate Councillor Scott. Someone happy to second that? Happy to second that, Councillor Graham. And the 4th member.
I'm happy to nominate Councillor Wilson. Chairman Wilson.
I'll second that.
2 seconders, look at that. Okay. Any other nominations? So just hang on. So let's vote 1 through 9. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Contrary, no. Carried. Now electing the chair. I'm happy to nominate Councillor Hewitt.
Second.
Further nominations? Do not need a vote. Well, we will have to actually to tidy it up. So recommendation 10 and 11. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Thank you. The representative of the Hawke's Bay Sports Council, everyone's read that. I'm happy to nominate Councillor Pipe to that position. The seconder for that, Councillor Scott. Further discussion, further nominations, I should say. No further nominations. I'll put that motion unless there are any speakers.
Just a couple of words briefly.
You want to roll again? No.
No. Mondays used to be a day that I had free, but unfortunately a whole pile of things fell on them, and on one occasion the meeting shifted to a Thursday, which I already had a prior commitment to. My personal circumstances have changed, that I now have a pretty full log of work on Mondays, and it just makes it impossible. So I didn't want to say I would undertake something which I could not. So I thought the best and the most appropriate thing was to hand in my resignation, and I wish Councillor Pipe all the best for the job. He has my full support.
Thank you. I'll put that motion. And all those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no. Carried. Regional On-Scene Commander. Chief Executive, may wish to...
Right, so it sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it, really? But look, Mr Maxwell has successfully completed the a fairly intensive on-scene commander training for oil spill, and we were advised of that quite recently, that he'd actually passed, and so once we got over our shock, we thought we'd better get his formal appointment made, so this is the paper for that. Thank you.
Question.
Does the commander have a special hat?
Do you want to buy me one?
So we had a mover and a seconder, and sorry.
They are, currently.
Don Scott isn't, Ian Lilburn is. So Don Scott was Regional On-Scene Commander at Gisborne, recently retired, but retains a qualification and has recently gone through a revalidation process with Maritime New Zealand.
He's also held, well, I think he may still hold the role of Principal Rural Fire Officer for the region, wide all through CHB.
Will the papers now be assigned Commander Maxwell when they come to council?
Getting out of shape here. So we've had a mover and a seconder. You wish to speak?
Congratulations on such an amazing achievement, and keep up the exams and widening your area.
Seconder? Oh, the speakers. I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please say aye. To the contrary, no. Carried. Item 19, monthly work plan looking forward through April. Take questions on that, which is on page 57. Any features any staff member would like to highlight before we took questions? Good. Questions. Councillor Scott.
Just a query around the problem with tomato mushrooms and their discharge. Is this a result of a reverse sensitivity? And are the new provisions in Plan Change 4 on the urban environment properly addressing those issues for the future?
It potentially is an issue of reverse sensitivity. I mean, it's a lawful business that's been there for many years, and urban subdivisions have crept closer to it, and it's only recently in the last couple of years, 3 years, when that new lot of subdivisions occurred and has built, that the complaints have escalated. There's no doubt, though, that there are odour issues with the operation that emit beyond the boundary. The issue now is that there are houses much closer to it than there used to be. In terms of the Hastings District Plan review, I don't know whether it adequately deals with reverse sensitivity. I am aware that this company in particular have an interest in ensuring that the district plan review deals with that. So I don't know any more than that. I'm sorry.
It was one of the issues that was very strongly submitted on during Plan Change 4 hearings, and the impact it had on lawful businesses being able to continue as subdivisions were allowed around them. So there is provision in the regional policy statement. That's not strong enough to direct the district plan.
Potentially not. One of the other things in this operation is that tomato mushrooms are in a bit of a developmental phase in their company. They've got other other avenues they're exploring. The market, as I understand it, for mushrooms is quite volatile, and they're looking at totally revisiting their business model to keep pace with that, which potentially means bringing forward a round of new consents for the operation and changing infrastructure to accommodate that. So those issues are going to be explored again. The company's quite open to that and having a process that has community engagement, involvement, discussion of those, and some form of resolution. So, but I'll go back to the point that there is no doubt that at times, given the current way the business operates, there is odour and it emits beyond the property, and it is offensive.
Plan Change 4, is this council submitting, and I mean this is just an example, I don't want to go into specifics of this particular company, but my question is generic. Are we submitting on the district plan on those provisions around reverse sensitivity given the regional policy statement?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Look, I can't answer that because I haven't got the submission right in front of us, and I'm sorry, and even the... Helen, are you our statutory advocacy, our submission to the Hastings District Plan Review, are we submitted around reverse sensitivity issues?
Microphone, please.
Yeah, I can't answer that, sorry.
Look, we can get a copy of the submission to you. I would be surprised if we haven't, because it's the reverse sensitivity is a key objective, or the management of it is a key objective in our regional policy statement. So if we're looking at plan provisions in relation to what we're promoting, then definitely reverse sensitivity is part of that.
Thank you. Any other questions, queries? Councillor Belford.
On the last page of that.
It will still involve all those stakeholders who are key to input into it. All that's changed is really that the project management has come back into the economic development managers of the councils, as opposed to Business Hawke's Bay.
A question.
Councillor Hewitt and then Councillor Dick.
Question for Liz. With the continued liaison with the NGR and the Napier Gisborne line, is there anything we need to be briefed on for our meeting tomorrow, or any prep we need to be doing?
Yes, I'm about to hand you out at the end of the meeting a copy of this each, so thanks for bringing that up. I don't want anyone to escape before you've got that. But I didn't want to inundate you with paper when you're discussing the LTP, for example. But there's an agenda, draft agenda set out, so we're looking at going from about 9 o'clock to 12:30, and it just sort of sets out some headings around the key points that we'd want to make sure are covered off, and obviously any other discussion that goes with it. In conjunction with that, there's some commentary, an attachment, some commentary on a potential heads of agreement.
Councillor Dick.
Farm Environment Management Plan, sorry, required under Plan Change 6, sorry.
Further questions? Someone happy to move? Councillor Scott, and we have Councillor Pipe seconding that. No further discussion. I don't see any. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Contrary, no.